I guess it's finally time. I've been waiting to do a last, or maybe this is just a break. I'll talk more about that here in a second, but this is a pretty big episode that I've been putting off for many months now. I've been, pretty much just handling my biz on the back end, but anyways, yes, this is me, Timothy Williams, back on the podcast. And I figured I would give you guys, I don't even know if anybody's watching, or going to watch, but I figured I'd give you a little bit of an update as to what's going on, what's been going on, what's the future looking like. And I just want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes. I figured what better day to release this podcast and to make this podcast than my birthday. So appreciate the birthday wishes. Appreciate you all who have, stood in support and sent me, good thoughts and good vibes. I appreciate that. But yeah, let's get into it. So obviously, the past couple of years have been quite interesting, but I just kind of want to backtrack to where I was at and then where I'm at now. And I think one of the biggest changes that I've kind of had gone through or am going through, or however you want to phrase it, I just remember for probably 7-8 years, a lot of my daily schedule was very regimented, very, very orderly, especially, during the season and during the summer. But I mean, it felt like after a while I was in a rat race, man. Like I was just in a rat race, driving on the interstate, 5-6 days a week, to and from work, waking up at insane hours and then staying super late for a job that ultimately was pretty fulfilling, but at the same time, it just was weird, man, because, I just kind of want to think about some of the things out loud, from knowing how to set up a bank account to helping people with ACTs to helping people, submit and follow through with college applications, job applications, even things like filing taxes. And then on the history side, talking about all sorts of things in history. I had just finished teaching, my first year of African American history. And that was pretty eye-opening for a lot of reasons, but I just felt like even though you can give so much and continuously try to do so much, even, in the coaching aspect, that ultimately, in a lot of ways, it kind of didn't matter. And I felt like I was stuck. It felt like you could give and give and give into these people, even the people that I worked with. And, in all reality, I don't know that it was ever appreciated. I don't know that it was ever something that people really took value in. I remember being in high school and I never learned how to do my taxes. I never learned, how to, apply to college. Literally that stuff was mostly either my parents telling me go to the website and click around, or me legitimately just doing it on my own. And it just felt like, even from the coaching aspect, I never had a coach that was like me. A lot of my coaches were either terrible, my basketball coach in high school was awful. The only good one was my freshman coach, and that was my freshman basketball coach, not my freshman football coach. But I don't know, man, just looking back, I always wanted to be the teacher and the coach that I never had. That was always my goal. And I felt like for years I did it, and I tried to help as many people as I could, whether it was the kid that was homeless, whether it was the kid that was a social outcast, whether it was the kid that was, super wealthy and had everything, or the kid that's, got the body to go to the NFL and got the pedigree that's been in the NFL. I tried to help as many people as I could, and sure, there were days where I went home and I was like, man, I was too rough, or man, I know my kids aren't going to like that, or my coach, my students aren't going to like that, my players aren't going to like that. There's a lot of just rough decisions to make that impact people's lives. And I was doing all this for, pennies on the dollar. And I know people will say, oh, the money shouldn't matter. The money doesn't, it's not about how much you make. Dude, that's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and, not say that. But I mean, when you're grinding your life away, sacrificing so many relationships with your family to go spend time with other people's kids and try to mentor them and give them on the right track, and then you realize that you're not living check to check. Some people are that are in that business, but you're barely able to save. You're barely able to buy a house. You're barely able to afford the things that make you comfortable in life. And here you are grinding hours and hours and hours. And then, getting people to backtalk you and trash you behind your back. It's just dude, it just wasn't fulfilling after a while. I think that, after a certain time of, being in the teaching and coaching world, I was just dude, I'm not going to make it in the pros, most likely, right? I'm probably not going to go to college and coach. What am I doing? You know what I mean? What am I actually doing? And so, I don't know, from how it ended, I really appreciate all the people that, poured into me and that helped me along the way, and all the people that, shed blood, sweat, and, some tears, to try to help win and try to help accomplish their own goals. I appreciate that, but I'm glad I'm out. I'm glad I'm not in that. I don't ever want to be a part of it. I don't ever want to do it again. Never. In fact, to be real honest, I still don't work for anybody else. I haven't worked for anybody else. I work for myself. And that's the goal. That's the goal for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to be put in that position again. And I just don't want to get stuck in that rat race. And I know some of you are, and some of you don't even care that it's a rat race. You don't see it as a rat race. You love your job. You love showing up and grinding every day. And dude, that's great. More power to you. But for me, I just felt like I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always started my own business. I've always made money on my own. I don't need to grind my life away for somebody else to get all the glory. That's maybe a head coach. Or for somebody else to get all the glory that's, maybe a principal or whatever, or an administrator. Or to be an assistant under people that, don't deserve to be, in charge. And, I was probably the youngest head coach in that county when I was 24, I mean, and I had been coaching since I was 18, so I don't know, man, just looking back, I gave as much as I could. Almost 12 years of coaching, 7, 8 years of teaching. I gave everything that I could. I impacted, thousands of people. And I appreciate the moments, the times, the ups, the downs. But at the same time, I was ready to move on, man. I was ready to move on probably in 2018. Probably 2018 was when it really started to turn. When I realized that I could be the best, assistant, the best, teacher. I was at the top of my game probably in 2018. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. I still made the same amount of money or less in the following years. And then, we never won the thing that we were all chasing, and so if I'm going to be honest about it, I was chasing a goal that, ultimately I got really close to. But I think about it all the time. If we had won state, if I had won, or helped a team, win state either in track or football, like, how would I have felt after? And I know that, like, the answer is probably I would have felt really great, right? And then it would have just been, all right, now back to the grind. And I feel like that's not healthy for me and for a lot of other people. And, it just wasn't worth it in the long run. Could I have retired, at 50 years old after teaching for, 27 years? Because I started teaching when I was like 22, 23. Yes. But, like, I just think of all that time I would have wasted pouring into people that ultimately don't care, pouring into people that don't appreciate it. You see it all the time, oh, he wasn't even a good coach. Oh, he didn't teach me anything. Like, it's just like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, all the things that people want to be taught about finance, about the ACT, things that people don't get taught about history. I was in the classroom and, on the ground floor trying to help people learn, trying to help people prepare for the next phase of life. And, I just never thought that it was like, I never thought that anybody appreciated it, to be real honest. I thought it was just kind of like you give and you give and you give, and maybe you get a pat on the back. And I mean, like, that's not okay. And I know that there's some people that are going to say, oh, you shouldn't want anything, but to do your job. And, like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Yeah, it really is. And I know that, like, in the past 2 years with, what was going on that ultimately got, cleared, that ultimately is nothing, that ultimately I won. And that, thank God, dude, thank the people that helped support me, I got through. Yeah, I lost a lot of people along the way. And I don't even think that there's anything that I could have done. I think that a lot of the time, you're going to lose almost everyone along your lifetime, right? To me, I don't know. I'm one of those weird, I've got a problem, I think, where I get tired of people. I honestly do. Whether it's years, whether it's months, I just get tired of people. And, I like to be challenged, and, I like to, I think a part of me likes confrontation. And I think that that's kind of where I thrive, my back against the wall. But the past couple years have definitely taught me that, for the most part, it's reinforced. Everybody leaves, whether it's they die, whether you just stop talking, whether you have a falling out. I think that's a really important lesson that I've had to learn, going back to, I mean, I could name names, but I really don't want to, but ultimately you're going to lose almost everyone. Ultimately it's you, on your own. And when push comes to shove, you just got to, for me, I just had to forgive people, had to move on, and just, if they don't want to hear both sides of a story, if they don't want to hear what happened, if they don't want to hear, how I'm doing, if they want to check on me one time a year, it's like, man, you've got to move on from those people and just let them be them, and whether that's, your parents, like for me it was, whether it's your brother, again, like for me it was, you just got to move on from people and, realize that just because you share the same blood, just because you have some of the same DNA, just because you've known them for years, whether it's your best friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your significant other, whatever, your wife, your husband, there is a time where people just grow apart, where people don't see things the same, and that's okay. You're happy for the times that you had. You're happy for the amazing memories, and hopefully there's some of those that you can reflect on and kind of always take with you. But, for me, it's like a clean slate. It really is, I don't care really anymore to be attached to the people that I had been attached to for for years, even though, it's going to sound terrible. You know what I mean? But there's people that, don't talk to their parents, don't talk to their siblings, don't talk to their family, that don't talk to their, their former best friend or their obviously their ex-wife, their ex-husband, their ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, and I think it's natural. I think it's a part of life. And I just think that, that's kind of where, I'm at. And I don't really want to change that. I want to just move forward, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously awkward because you want to appreciate the things that those people have given to you. But at the same time, like, it's if you cannot help people and support people when there is a huge issue that they're going through or a huge problem that they're going through, then I think that it's time you put on the shoe of those people, put on the shoes of those people and think, what would I want if I was going through my most challenging life obstacle? What would I want other people to do for me if I was going through the toughest time in my life? And I had to learn that too, man. There were players that made mistakes, that got kicked out of school, that I was really helping to grow and really, I did care about them. And then as soon as they messed up, I just stopped talking to them. I never talked to them again. And I did it one time in particular with one wide receiver who got busted for weed, of all things, right? It's like, dude, who fucking cares, man? It's just weed, But I know people don't even agree with that, but whatever. I'm not here to debate that. But I stopped talking to him. I never talked to him again. And after a few months, I realized what a big mistake that was. That person was a kid that ultimately needed people around him to support. And I wasn't there. I was there when he made great plays. I was there when he made an incredible catch. I was there when he made a mistake and I was jumping on him. But then when real life came and he didn't, follow the rules of the land or whatever was alleged, whatever, that I just ditched him. And it was that time, I think like 2016, that I really realized that you can't do that to people. And then when I went through my own hardships in 2020, and all of a sudden, the people that were my best friend just unadd me on Facebook and no longer text me and, all this, dumb shit, instead of saying, dude, are you okay? What happened? Like, I know what I read. I know what I see, but are you okay? Like, what's going on? Instead of that, we're just quick to judge. And you know what? That's okay. Do you, if that's what you want to do. But again, I just stress that whenever you're back, that whenever you're going through the toughest time of your life, is that what you want everybody to do? No matter what happened, is that what you want people to do? Do you want people to shut you out? Do you want people to just block you out? Or do you want people to be there and know that even though one mistake may or may not have been made, even though you may have been a part of something that you didn't mean to get caught up in, that people can continue to grow, right? Like that's the thing. We can all continue to grow. And so, again, man, like, I just look back. I'm happy for everything that happened. I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that I've been here working behind the scenes to make my life as good as possible. And honestly, it's arguably the best it's ever been. Even though all this bullcrap went on, right? And I just don't go out and flaunt it. I don't go out and, post it on social media, because that's not what I've ever been about. I've always been a private person. That's why this whole debacle was obviously pretty disturbing for me. Is like, dude, I've always been a private person, and now all these lies are out there about me. What are you going to do? And then you realize that, again, if you sit back and look at things, for the most part, you're on your own. You've got to be the biggest supporter of yourself when times are bad, when times are great. you've always got to believe in yourself. And whether you're going through the toughest time of your life, whether you're going through the best time of your life, always remember that there's somebody that wants to see you fail, that wants to, distance themselves from you. And you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with cutting people off, with never talking to them again. Whether it's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your cousins, your uncle, your ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, your wife, your ex-husband, whatever. You've got to be willing to say, I want to continue growing no matter what happens to me. I want to keep growing as a person. And I never want to hold things against other people because I wouldn't want people to hold things against me. And if you do, that's okay. That's your choice. But I won't do that. That's more stress and more worry that you're putting on yourself, right? That's you basically saying, I'm a better person than you are. Even though, let's be real. We've all done dumb things. We've all done terrible things. Some things get thrown in the newspaper. Some things just, are stuck between the people that it happened to. And I don't know. I just am happy to move on from things. And, looking ahead, what have I been doing? What am I going to be doing in the future? Well, I'm continuing to run my business, continuing to run my LLC, creating content, doing everything that I can do behind the scenes. TikTok, I'm all in Web3, baby. Web3, crypto, all that, baby. I'm in it. And it's been very fulfilling because my joy isn't just in helping other people and like seeing them succeed. My joy is in legitimately building something for myself. I am now pushing myself ahead and putting myself ahead as much as I can. And along the way, I can help some people. I continue to talk to a lot of people. It's been great. I've gotten to meet with CEOs and talk to CEOs in the past couple of years of many companies. I've gotten to, meet people from all over the world. And, I just continue to grow as much as I can as a human being, despite all the bullshit, all the lies, all the people that are trying to spread their own narrative of what happened and what didn't happen. And it's incredible, man, because while other people dwell on that, you can, or while other people dwell on, your shortcomings, and while other people dwell on your mistakes, you can take control of the situation and you can build your own thing. You can keep pushing forward and growing as a person. And you may lose people along the way. That's natural, just like I did. But ultimately, it's like they say, man, when you die, you die on your own. You know what I mean? When you ultimately are judged, in death, whether, you may believe in that or you don't, it's you, they don't measure, oh man, these other people, it's not about other people. It's about what you do. You know what I mean? It's your actions. It's your words. So it's been great. Is there going to be more Total Media Live podcast? Yeah, there will be. Just not right now. Right now, I'm going to keep building behind the scenes. I've got to continue to get things to be status quo in my life. Thank goodness, I bought my house before everything went down and everything. And thank goodness I became self-sufficient in the past 2 years. And it's been a blessing, man. It's not. I definitely went out with a bang. That's not what I intended to. If I could have done things in a more peaceful way, walking away from that whole career, it would have been nice. But at the end of the day, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. It's all going to work out. And I can't thank you all enough for the people, again, that have supported me for the people that, continue to check in and follow up. Thank you all so much. And that's really all I got. Obviously, rest in peace to all those people that I've lost along the way. The people that have passed away. I still think about people that I've made podcasts about. People that, I'm not going to lie to you. I've, written a book in the past couple of years. So there's people that I lost in college that I think about. People that I've lost in the past 2 years that I think about. So, again, whether you were against me, whether you hate me, whether you love me, whether you don't care, I appreciate you. And I hope that your journey is as fulfilling as mine has been. And until next time, the next Total Media Live podcast, the next Timothy Williams Life Update. Until then, just let you guys and ladies and everybody else keep growing.